And by something happier, I mean movies are starting production again, like at a rapid rate, as not one, not two, but three movies that I'm super excited for have now begun production, with those three movies being John Wick Chapter 4, Aquaman 2, The Lost Kingdom, I believe is the name, and Knives Out 2. I am excited for all of these. The only one that I have some hesitancy, well, it's not even some, it's quite a bit of hesitancy, is Aquaman. Now, I should put a disclaimer here. Aquaman still to this day is my favorite DCEU movie. It fully embraces its comic bookness. It's kooky and over the top, and I love every minute of it. It's colorful, bright, in your face. It felt like I was reading big splash pages of comic book, and I love that. However, the big thing that tempers my excitement for this new one is the biggest elephant in the room in the world with the Amber Heard situation. She is still a member of the cast. She's still filming. It just, to me, creates this really uncomfortable atmosphere because just like I want to get excited, but then I go in the comment section and everyone's just like, nope, not saying this. Nope, not saying this. How is she attached to this? And I feel the same way. I just won't verbalize it online, but it's just, it does create this awkward atmosphere because once filming is wrapped and the movie will begin to come out, they'll start doing press tours, and that will be the only thing on people's minds. It just creates this awkward situation. I think it'll be even worse than I still think the Ezra Miller thing is not fully resolved, and Ezra Miller is going to be very awkward when they ask him about that experience during COVID when, he attacked somebody. But other than the Amber Heard thing, I'm really, really looking forward to Aquaman. I love the first one, like I said. I trust James Wan completely. I love him as a director, whether it's The Conjuring, Insidious, Aquaman. I even like Dead Silence. It's pretty fun. So my only real question is, where do you go? Like, clearly we've got some frozen tundra, it looks like. I thought we might be exploring the trench in the second one. Maybe not. We do know that Black Manta will be coming back. That's about the extent of what we know when it comes to Aquaman 2. It's just, Aquaman as a character, I've been championing for a while, ever since Jeff Johns' run on the New 52. People need to give him more respect, and I think the Jason Momoa led movie went a long way, and people going, oh, so he's not just a comedy character anymore. That's good. It's just, to me, I don't know enough about what stories you can go with. Maybe someday we have his son, and maybe someday we get the hook arm Aquaman. I would love hook arm Aquaman, because I grew up on the Justice League animated series. I think that'd be awesome. But transition to the other two, I don't know which I'm more excited for, John Wick Chapter 4 or Knives Out 2. I'll be blatantly honest. If Knives Out 2 wasn't coming to Netflix, I'd be a lot more excited. Like, I don't want to say it ruins it for me that it's on Netflix, but I really, really wish that this was a theater movie. Like, I get Netflix wants to stay competitive in the streaming wars, but this doesn't excite me being a Netflix project. I still have faith in Rian Johnson. He's assembled quite a good cast, and I think I saw somewhere today that they've added even more people. Like Ethan Hawke has been added, I believe. I couldn't verify that before we were recording. So I'm really, really excited for this. As long as it's not a Star Wars movie, I like Rian Johnson for the most part. Some of his movies are kind of Wasn't overly impressed with Looper, but I loved Knives Out so much. It was my favorite movie of 2019. And setting it completely separately from the Thrombies, I think, is a good choice. This movie is going to be set in Greece, so it's not even going to be connected to the first one at all, which I think is the route to go. I was kind of hoping Lakeith Stanfield's detective might come back as the guy that kind of keeps hiring Benoit Blanc, even though he wasn't the one that hired him in the first one. I wanted them to keep working together because I really like Lakeith Stanfield's character, but Daniel Craig was just having so much fun as Benoit Blanc, so I'm happy to see him come back. I think this could be a lot of fun. Hopefully this continues to live up to the hype of the first one and isn't a Murder on the Orient Express situation. Now, last but not least, John Wick Chapter 4. I'm getting more and more excited for this movie. I like all the John Wicks. They're just keep progressively getting better and better. I'm getting really, really excited for this one just because the casting that we're getting, whether it's like Donnie Yen or I'm blanking on his name, but the man that played Scorpion in the most recent Mortal Kombat movie. I'm afraid I'm going to mispronounce his name if I even attempt it. Mr. Sonata, I believe. He was also in Avengers Endgame. He's also been added to the cast. Adding these names and in roles that supposedly sound like they're going to be John Wick's allies gets me really, really excited at the potential of, okay, if John Wick's going to war, he needs allies. And I like the prospect of, okay, for the most part, these John Wick movies, he's been a solo fighter. I would very much like a team dynamic to this. If he's going after the high table, he's going to need all the help he can get, especially how much he got banged up in the third one. I would very much be okay with having some reinforcements, some big action set pieces here with these guys. Keanu Reeves and Donnie Yen fighting back to back, fighting off a whole bunch of ninjas. Yes, please. So if I had to rank these by excitement level, oh man, this gets tricky. Oh man. Maybe John Wick, Chapter 4, then Knives Out, then Aquaman. If Aquaman, again, would be so much higher if it wasn't for this just really uncomfortable Amber Heard stuff. It's just this really uncomfortable elephant in the room. But as a whole, I would say I'm excited for all three of these. I'm very curious to see how these shake up. They're franchises that I care deeply about, and all of them I think still have very, very bright futures ahead of them, and I'm really, really looking forward to what we get from these movies.